There are songs that once sold millions of copies but are hardly mentioned anymore. Some even climbed higher than Elton John and the Eagles on the Billboard charts, only to disappear a few months later. And the most surprising part is that most of these songs are just as good today as they were the very first time you heard them. Today, we're taking a look back at 12 forgotten one-hit wonders from 1975 that every classic music fan should listen to at least once again. Number 12. 18 with a Bullet by Pete Wingfield.
I'm 18 with a bullet.
Pete Wingfield may not be a name many people remember today, but in 1975, he unexpectedly created one of the year's most memorable one-hit wonders with 18 with a Bullet. Blending soul with a touch of vintage nostalgia, the song quickly captured listeners' attention thanks to its irresistible melody and distinctive style during a time when rock dominated the charts.
Last forever, and I'll be good to you.
Interestingly, the phrase "with a bullet" was Billboard terminology used to describe songs that were climbing the charts at an unusually fast pace. And fittingly, the record peaked at exactly number 18 on the Hot 100. After that success, Pete Wingfield returned to producing records and working as a session musician, gradually stepping away from the spotlight. Yet every time this song plays, it still transports listeners back to the unforgettable summer of 1975. Number 11. Poetry Man by Phoebe Snow.
'Cause your eyes, they light the night, they look right through.
Not every artist needs a long list of hit records to leave a lasting impression. For Phoebe Snow, Poetry Man alone was enough to establish her as one of the most unforgettable voices of 1975. Blending folk, jazz, and soft rock, the song stood out with her pure, emotional vocals, sounding completely different from the music dominating radio at the time. Released in 1975, the song quickly climbed to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 and earned Phoebe Snow a Grammy nomination with her debut album. Many believed it would mark the beginning of a brilliant chart career. However, despite releasing several outstanding albums afterward, she never scored another top 40 hit in the United States. That's why Poetry Man remains the song most music lovers think of first whenever Phoebe Snow's name is mentioned, and one of the most memorable one-hit wonders of 1975. Number 10. Love Won't Let Me Wait by Major Harris. Chevy Van by Sammy Johns. Some songs need only a few opening chords to transport listeners back to the open highways of the 1970s. Chevy Van is one of those songs. With its laid-back country rock sound and lyrics about a chance encounter on the road, it quickly attracted attention while also stirring controversy because many considered its subject matter too bold for its time.
I said, get some sleep and dream of rock and roll.
Despite the mixed reactions, Chevy Van climbed to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became the biggest hit of Sammy Johns' career. Many believed he was destined for even greater success after such a breakthrough. However, every single that followed failed to reach the top 40, and his name gradually disappeared from the charts.
On the road, son, better slow.
More than 40 years later, whenever people mention Sammy Johns, they still remember only Chevy Van, a perfect example of how a single song can be enough to earn a permanent place in rock history.
That's alright with me.
Number 8. Don't Call Us, We'll Call You by Sugarloaf.
A long distance directory assistance, area code 212.
Sometimes rejection becomes the beginning of an artist's greatest success. For Sugarloaf, frustration with record companies inspired Don't Call Us, We'll Call You, a clever satire about the darker side of the music business. Its telephone sound effects and witty lyrics helped the song stand out among the many rock records filling the airwaves in 1975. It didn't take long for the single to break into the Billboard Top 10, bringing Sugarloaf back into the spotlight after several quiet years. Ironically, that success also marked the band's final major appearance on the charts.
Oh, jive, baby, jive.
Gradually, the name Sugarloaf was overshadowed by newer generations of artists, but the song is still remembered by classic rock fans as proof that sometimes the best response to rejection is creating a timeless hit. Number 7. Magic by Pilot.
Ho, ho, it's magic, you know.
If you listened to the radio during the summer of 1975, chances are you heard Magic more than once. With its bright melody, unforgettable chorus, and upbeat pop rock sound, the song quickly won over audiences, turning Pilot into one of the year's biggest surprise success stories. Few people realize the record was made at Abbey Road Studios under the production of Alan Parsons, who would later become one of rock's legendary producers.
Never been away, hey, never seen a day break.
The song climbed into the top 5 of the Billboard Hot 100 and opened exciting opportunities for the Scottish band. Unfortunately, it also became Pilot's only major success in the United States. Their later singles never managed to repeat that achievement, leaving them remembered as one of the forgotten one-hit wonders of the 1970s. Even today, just a few opening notes are enough to transport listeners back to the bright summer days of 1975. Number 6. Sky High by Jigsaw. Before Sky High introduced Jigsaw to audiences around the world, the band had quietly spent years performing with very little commercial success. That's why the song's explosive breakthrough in 1975 surprised even the band members themselves. With dramatic strings, a powerful melody, and Des Dyer's commanding vocals, the record quickly captivated listeners on both sides of the Atlantic.
You've blown it all sky high.
The song was recorded at Decca Studios in London and was originally written as the theme for the martial arts film The Man from Hong Kong. Thanks to its energetic melody and unforgettable chorus, the record was quickly embraced by radio stations. It climbed to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and reached the top 10 in several countries. Although Jigsaw continued releasing singles afterward, none ever repeated that success. Even today, every time Sky High plays, listeners can still feel the unmistakable energy of 1975. We've reached the halfway point of our countdown, but the songs ahead are the ones that make many American listeners say, "I completely forgot this song ever existed," and the number 1 pick fooled millions of people about what it was really about. Number 5. The Hustle by Van McCoy. In 1975, it was almost impossible to find a dance floor in America that wasn't playing The Hustle. With its signature flute melody, vibrant string arrangements, and irresistible disco beat, The song quickly became the soundtrack to the dance craze sweeping the nation. Interestingly, Van McCoy came up with the idea after watching hundreds of people perform a dance called the Hustle at a New York nightclub. He immediately headed into the studio and transformed that moment into a Billboard Hot 100 #1 hit that sold millions of copies and earned a Grammy Award. Although Van McCoy continued to enjoy success as a songwriter and producer behind the scenes, he never again released a single under his own name that matched the impact of the Hustle. That is exactly why he remains one of the most memorable one-hit wonders of 1975, with a song that still makes people want to get up and dance every time it starts playing. Number 4, Lovin You by Minnie Riperton. Amid the energetic wave of rock and disco in 1975, Lovin You captivated listeners with a rare sense of tenderness. Armed with nothing more than a gentle melody and Minnie Riperton's breathtakingly pure voice, the song became a love ballad whose charm remains undiminished nearly 50 years later. Few people know that she originally wrote it as a lullaby for her young daughter Maya with her husband, Richard Rudolph, before completing it in the recording studio. Upon its release, Lovin' You quickly climbed to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, while Minnie's unforgettable whistle register notes became her unmistakable trademark.
Else can make me feel the colors that you bring.
Although she released many more albums afterward, she never had another hit that matched its success. Perhaps that's why Lovin' You remains the very first song music lovers think of whenever Minnie Riperton's name is mentioned. Number 3, Fallin' in Love by Hamilton, Joe Frank and Reynolds. Rather than relying on hard-driving rock or upbeat disco, Fallin' in Love won over audiences in 1975 with its smooth, soft rock sound and beautifully crafted harmonies. The song quickly rose to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming the group's greatest success during that era.
Then you came and made my dream this man's reality.
Ironically, by the time the song was recorded, the member named Reynolds had already left the group, but the band decided to keep the familiar name because audiences already recognized them that way. That seemingly small decision helped make the record even easier for the public to embrace.
Seems like yesterday, you and I first loved this way.
Although the group released several more singles afterward, none ever matched the remarkable success of Fallin' in Love. Even today, it remains the song most closely associated with their name. Number 2, Dreamweaver by Gary Wright.
Just close my eyes again.
From its very first notes, Dreamweaver sounded unlike almost anything else on the radio in 1975. Filled with shimmering synthesizers and an ethereal melody, Gary Wright created a hit that seemed to transport listeners into another world. Few people realize the inspiration came from his trip to India and the Eastern philosophies that transformed his outlook on life.
Ooh, Dreamweaver.
Even more daring, the recording relied almost entirely on synthesizers, keyboards, and electronic drums, with no guitar at all, a highly unusual choice at the time. The song climbed to #2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became the biggest hit of Gary Wright's career. Although he never repeated that achievement, he left behind a timeless classic that continues to bring listeners back to the imaginative and innovative spirit of 1975. Number 1, How Long by Ace. Topping today's list is How Long, the song that took Ace from playing small clubs in Sheffield to the international charts in 1975. For years, many people believed it was simply a love song about romantic betrayal. The truth, however, is something entirely different. The song was written after one member of the band secretly performed with another group without telling his bandmates, turning a story of betrayal between friends into the inspiration for a classic hit. Paul Carrack's warm, soulful voice made the song even more unforgettable. Recorded at Rockfield Studios in Wales, How Long climbed to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became Ace's biggest success. Although the band broke up not long afterward, the song has lived on through radio airplay, proving that sometimes a single hit is all it takes to leave a legacy for generations. So there you have it, our look back at 12 of the most memorable one-hit wonders of 1975. Nearly 50 years have passed, yet these songs still have the remarkable power to transport us to a time when simply turning on the radio could introduce us to music that captivated an entire generation. Although many of these artists never repeated their greatest success, they each left behind one unforgettable hit that has stood the test of time and become an irreplaceable part of millions of music lovers' memories. If you enjoy discovering the stories behind classic songs, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can continue exploring the history of rock and pop from the 60s and 70s with Rewind Rock. And now it's your turn. Which one-hit wonder do you think deserves the #1 spot for 1975? Or is there a song we missed? Let us know your pick in the comments below.
Long distance directory assistance, area code 212.
And now, as a special thank you to everyone who has stayed with us until the very end, we'd like to share something interesting with you. Many people assume that artists who had only one hit and then disappeared were simply unlucky, but the truth is quite different. Many of the one-hit wonders from 1975 continued leaving their mark in ways the public rarely noticed. Take Pete Wingfield, for example. After the success of 18 with a Bullet, he never returned to the major charts, but he became a highly respected producer and keyboard player sought after by many famous artists. Or Van McCoy, who never matched the success of The Hustle as a recording artist, yet remained behind countless successful soul and disco records as a songwriter, arranger, and producer. Other artists chose completely different paths. Pilot continued writing songs and working in the studio. Gary Wright kept exploring new musical ideas. And after Ace disbanded, Paul Carrack launched an entirely new chapter in his career, eventually becoming one of Britain's most beloved rock vocalists. Their stories remind us that having only one major hit isn't necessarily the end of a career. It can simply be the beginning of a different journey. Perhaps that's exactly why we've always loved stories about one-hit wonders. Behind every song is someone who dedicated a lifetime to music. Even if the public remembers only one of their records, these artists still helped shape the sound of an entire era and inspired countless musicians who followed. That's also the journey Rewind Rock hopes to continue sharing with you. Beyond the famous hits, we'll keep exploring forgotten artists, little-known behind-the-scenes stories, and the moments that changed the history of rock and pop throughout the 1960s and 1970s. And if 1975 gave us so many unforgettable one-hit wonders, the years that followed brought even more surprising stories. Some songs reached #1 on the Billboard charts only to disappear within months, while others have continued playing on the radio for more than half a century. We hope you'll continue joining us on that journey, because behind every hit lies another story waiting to be told, and there are still countless hidden gems from rock history waiting for us to discover together. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.